Aloha, I'm Auli'i Cravalho, and these are my top movie moments. I remember one of my favorite films growing up was Mulan. I watched it over and over again, I think also for the AAPI, or Asian American Pacific Islander representation. So while there wasn't a lot of Pacific Island representation, I loved Mulan for the fact that she had strong community ties and ties to culture, and that she was kicking butt. I've never seen a Disney princess do that before. I was in church choir and school choir. I grew up in a very musical community and family, but I remember watching Sound of Music over and over and over again in a bunch of different classes. I think when there was nothing to teach, we just put on Sound of Music. So that probably left a lasting impact. I love Hayao Miyazaki films are some of my favorites. If I had to choose between Spirited Away and Howl's Moving Castle, I don't think that I could. Princess Mononoke is also another one. Oh, any film by Hayao Miyazaki is a comfort film of mine. How much time do you have? Simba from Lion King. We'll start there. Why did they make Nala so pretty? I don't know. We're talking about animals here. It's messed up. And yet, what am I gonna do, lie? I watched Mike Feist on the West End, actually, in Brokeback Mountain, and then I later saw him in Challengers and West Side Story. I would love to work with him. I think he has such an honesty in his eyes, which I find really surprising and taking. Yeah. I know it's cliche, but I'd have to say Moana. I was cast in their first film when I was 14. I just turned 24 a few days ago, so I feel like I've grown up right alongside this character. I've learned so much about myself. I feel that I've become a bit of a role model after, living with her for so long and having us juxtaposed right next to each other. I also recognize how much of an impact she has made for my community and my culture. I re-recorded our film in Ōlelo Hawaii, which is unfortunately a dying language. It was forbidden to be spoken for a few generations. So having this film out in Ōlelo Hawaii means that it is part of the resurgence of bringing that language back. Like, I learned so much about myself and what I was capable of, and blowing the roof off the ceiling of what I thought I was capable of working on this film. Oh, a movie that makes me cry or very emotional. Coco. Coco, that movie makes me cry all the time. Really good. Well done. I love Disney. Character that I relate to or that makes me feel seen. I think when I first watched Lilo and Stitch, I saw myself on screen, but I also remember watching a Whale Rider in class, and it's a really beautiful film out of Aotearoa, New Zealand, about familial ties and about breaking expectations for young women, so I would definitely suggest that watch. I could never watch those films that had horses or that had dogs as like the sidekicks, because I knew they're gonna die, and that's too painful. But Kiki's Delivery Service, or maybe Sabrina the Teenage Witch. I'm a big cat lady, so anytime there's a cat involved, I'm like, my little familiar. Yeah, maybe those films. Oh, The Tooth Fairy. That came so quickly off the top of my head. That was so good. Oh my gosh, that was so long ago also. He might have even still had hair when he did that movie. I can't remember. I might be right, I might be wrong. I think I'm right. One of my favorite psychological slash horror slash suspense films is The Invitation. It's actually really, really well done, and it earns, I think, the gore instead of just putting it in your face and then you're like, that's fake. Especially for me as I work in film, I'm like, that's a sound effect. If there wasn't a sound effect there, it wouldn't be scary, you know? But that one's good. Haha, casual. The Secret Life of Walter Mitty was really, really good. I love, like I was saying, that you can change what you want to do, change with the passions of life, and allow yourself to be free enough to go on adventures. I am very lucky to also travel the world with the work that I do, so I hope to keep traveling and keep learning and keep being a beginner at things, because I think that's also what keeps you young and keeps you alive.